Good morning. My name is not Ann Coulter, although I did order an Ann Coulter doll. Things are getting inexorably worse because they are driven by the planets. The economic and social disaster is as inevitable as the tides coming in or trying to stop winter by wishing it wouldn't come. This is driven by planetary alignments. This week we have the beginning of they say history repeats itself. It's because people don't read books. In Germany, under Hitler, they had a thing called the Night of the Long Knives, where groups of men arrived at people's houses in the middle of the night and murdered them. Everyone that was undesirable in Hitler's eyes. And what came out of that historically is this thing is first they came for the trade unionists, but I was not a trade unionist, so I did nothing. Then they came for the Catholics, and I wasn't a Catholic, so I didn't do anything. Then they came for the Jews, and I wasn't a Jew, so I didn't do anything. And then they came for me, and there was no one to help me. And in this scenario, first they came for Donald Trump, and then they came for Alex Jones. And they will be working their way down the line through the people who are strong voices in the land to shut them up. And eventually they will get to you. The problem with communism, the fantasy that the state can run the economy better than the private entrepreneurs, is not true. There isn't one single communist country on this planet or any other planet that's doing well. And most entrepreneurs are quite bright and quite experienced and quite driven. Therefore, things happen. And this phrase, my paycheck, I need my paycheck, comes from one of these people who's able to support 10 or more people. So your entrepreneur boss is paying your mortgage, your car payment, your grocery bill, your dental bill. So, under communism, those people are expunged, or their businesses are taken away, or they're jailed, or any kind of nefarious thing. As a class, they have to be stopped. And then, amazingly, things don't work out well. Factories don't work well. The agrarian system doesn't work well. So the communist system is, well, we'll just throw more people at it. And when they run out of people who want to work, they come for you to be a slave because they need more bodies. I saw a kid yesterday in a major grocery chain, and he's one of these new cell phone kids with the hip hair and the soft body. And he bought some items, and then he wanted to buy rolls of coin from the cashier, which apparently they are willing to do if they have them. But there are 3 banks within 100 yards of the store. But he's so spoiled that he is holding up the grocery line because he needs coins. These people are going to be a great danger if and when the economy falls and there's shortages of everything, because they're so used to having everything so easily. They're going to go into sugar withdrawal, first of all, and I think they're going to start, because they're entitled, they imagine, start gangs of young people go roving around stealing things. And this is not even to mention the roving gangs of older men, larger men with rifles, and German shepherds. I'm in Canada, which is a socialist democracy. And I guess social democracy is socialism light. Until lately, when someone went up against the government, and the government called in the international troops from the United Nations. There were United Nations planes spotted up north by Hudson's Bay, and they said, oh, they're just here for maintenance. They always go there for maintenance. And then these green uniformed people showed up who didn't speak English and had no identification marks to be the thugs. And this is a small sample of something called the Kigali Principles, where if a country is in civil turmoil, the United Nations is able to pull troops from the other 196 countries to quell the violence under the premise of protecting people from harm. This is the first time it was seen in the media, I think, because most people on all sides didn't realize what they were looking at. And even the government didn't realize we shouldn't televise this. These were not policemen. These were not Royal Canadian Mounted Police, which is the national police force, and British soldiers as well. This was an unknown group. And I would like to remind the world that most wars are lost because of treason. From the 300 Spartans to Ireland, when they were trying to free themselves from the British, and the Romans for that matter. It's always treason. Which is why treason is punishable by death, by firing a squad, or hanging, and pretty well with a minimal trial. Because you are betraying your group. Betrayal after trust is the definition of treason from the technical dictionary. So the inexorable, which means unstoppable, between a rock and a hard place kind of thing, of the worsening of the world. Is tied up with the astrology of the solar system, and the solar system orbits around Vega about every 25,800 years. And this large rotation has 4 seasons, just as the year has 4 seasons. And they have different flavors, similar to summer, fall, winter, spring. And it's not generally known, although you can find this in thousands of books. That, for example, the phrase "as above, so below," here we are subjected to night and day and the 4 seasons. The 25,000 year thing is called the Great Year, and we're just as effect of that as we are of the stuff that's obvious to us. And next year, 2023, matters are coming to a head. This is supposed to be the beginning of the age of Aquarius, which is, I would say, spring in the Great Year. And that's supposed to last for 6,000 years. New information which has come to light and under the apocalypse, which means the revelation of knowledge, is that every 10,000 years there's a planetary alignment of the 4 outer gas giants, and it causes what looks like the end of the world. It has the 4 huge planets, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Saturn, line up, and their combined magnetic gravitic forces are able to disturb the very paper-thin shell of cooled rock on the surface of the Earth, and the even vapor-thin coating of organic life on top of that. And this is the underpinning of why we're having this increase of the wish to dominate and kill, which is Saturn. And piled on top of that is there are 2 groups which keep themselves aware of the 10,000 year cycle and wait for it. And there are those who use it to continue their domination of the planet by living through it and coming back out as the helpers, but for a price. And the hidden mystery schools, which try to safeguard knowledge through the disaster. And this is the second foundation, as mentioned by Isaac Asimov in his science fiction series. If you know something, or if you're part of the inner group that desires to dominate, you're not allowed to say anything, but you can write a book. A book like 1984, which is where we're headed. And his second book, Brave New World, is what comes after that. is also predicted is the DNA manipulation of intelligence to make classes of slaves. This is also, even Jules Verne predicted atomic submarines, nuclear weapons, the fact that war is a crime. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Journey to the Center of the Earth. Talking about Agartha, the underground world. Lost Horizon. A book about Shangri-La. Holding the secret to extremely long lives and peace. Peter Uspensky is a Russian Warsaw school teacher, leader, philosopher. Came up with man is the lying animal. He's the only animal that lies. And that man is a sleeping machine. He thinks he's conscious, but he's not. The waking state is very little different from the dream state. And other states of consciousness shown to us by the shamans and some chemicals show that there is more to be seen. Peter Uspensky's school talks about two higher centers in man above the intellectual center, the higher emotional and the higher intellectual, which can consciously deal with what one sees on shamanistic drugs. And the sleeping machine is who's being affected by the great year. We're headed towards war, and no different than the geese fly south in the winter because they know winter is coming. And in this case, winter would be 6,000 years long, which is what they're talking about in Game of Thrones, the Great Year. And the maesters would be the people who are holding the knowledge of the past, a few thousand years at least. And there's a man named Randall Carlson who is very, very, very important. Now he's researched what he calls catastrophism, which is this complete destruction of the civilizations every 10,000 years by cosmic events. Mostly meteors and comets. But the 10,000 year cycle also includes volcanism and earthquakes, darkening of the skies, failure of crops, ice ages. And everything gets destroyed except the hunter-gatherers. And they don't have the tech. and we start again. And this has been going on for provably 39,000 years, and the information that I have, over 70 million years. So prepare. The unprepared will be the greatest danger to you because they'll be the closest to you. And for the 5th time this year in my videos, I'm going to say the most dangerous phrase will be, "Daddy, I'm hungry." You can imagine